Okay, hello. We are back in the coffee lab this morning, and today I'm kind of excited because I'm going to do the 1-year test on the Ember 14-ounce mug on how long it keeps coffee hot. And if you saw my previous video when I did the 6-month test, I was pretty surprised that from the day I got it to the 6-month point, there was really no decrease in the amount of time it could keep a cup of coffee hot. And so I'm kind of interested to see how it'll last here, or how it'll test out here on the 1-year test. So I use my mug just about every day. I'm going to call this 1-year test about 350 uses into it. I think my last video was 200 uses in, so 350 uses in. The previous tests showed that this mug could keep coffee in what I call the drinkable zone, so that's 140 degrees to 130 degrees for about an hour. It tested that way when I first got it. It tested that way 6 months later. So we'll see what it's like after a year. Just to refresh your memory on how this test is done, I'm going to preheat the mug with boiling water. I'm going to dump that out. I'm going to put boiling water into it, which is a little bit below what you might think of as boiling because I'm at 6,000 feet, so my boiling point's about 200 degrees. I'm going to put that in the mug, 12 ounces, and we'll measure it until it gets down to below 100 degrees. And again, 140 to 130 is my drinkable area. So let's see how it ends up. All right, we got full-on boiling water here. Let's preheat the mug. Let's preheat the measuring cup and get going. All right, we just let it sit there for a couple seconds to get the heat into the mug and the cup. All right, let's do this. Eight ounces. 4 ounces. Start the stopwatch and we wait. All right, I'm all done here. Got the Ember mug back on the charger so I have a hot cup of coffee in the morning. I'll go crunch the numbers and I'll be back in a minute.
All right, here we go. As a matter of review, this is how the Ember tested out when it was new. It entered the drinkable range of 140 degrees after 15 or 16 minutes and exited the drinkable range at 130 degrees at the 72-minute mark for what I'm calling about 56 minutes of drinkable coffee. The second test, performed 6 months later, performed exactly the same. I was pretty surprised by that, thinking that the battery would have degraded a little bit. So now we're up to this 1-year test, and it's been about 350 uses now. Just did this test, and surprisingly, it performed nearly identically. So here we are a year later, and the Ember mug is still performing as good as it did on day one. I've always been a fan of the functionality, but the longevity of this mug is a pleasant surprise. I guess now I have to do this test in another 6 months or a year. Click subscribe if you want to be notified when that video comes out, and thanks for watching.
By the way, I lied earlier when I said good morning. It's actually 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and the best way to pass the time while performing this test is with a little Colorado whiskey. That is good stuff. If you're ever in Colorado, check out this place, 5280 Distilling. This is the single malt whiskey. It is so good if you like unique whiskeys.